He can watch a 10-minute video in a minute and a half, which is pretty impressive. Then we've all got something to learn from him.
Hi, friends. Host Eric here, host Talking with Fans People. And that was an interesting experience. We just watched Taylor's lambasting of me and my flip floppiness. And of course, prior to me watching that video, though, he and I had already had a conversation about this thing. And so, um, the basic gist of my response to him was at the time when we talked and remains is that he's right about the going back on the deal. And if he wants to hold me to account for it, then I will be held to account for it, and we'll enforce that. And I will have to inform Courtney that my promises to her were not made in. I was promising shit wasn't mine to promise. But the reason I went ahead and said what I said and did what I did was because, number one, I wanted to make sure it was clear that that's exactly what I was doing. I was going back on a deal. It's something I almost never do. So that's why I've said explicitly in the title, host Eric goes back on his deal with Taylor. Number two, the deal was bad for both Taylor and me in the sense that it removed from us some of our own discretion, and for no reason, because that wasn't what we were supposed to be doing in the first place. The reason that we ended up in that deal was because we compromised, and that was explicitly not the purpose of that trial, which wasn't a trial of Courtney, really. It was a trial of the concept, and Taylor and I were talking it out. So the thing is, regardless of that, though, whether or not it was ill-advised for both of us or not, I should not back out of a deal before talking to him. In this, in this instance, I figured I'd talk to him later about it, and in fact, I did talk to him later about it. But regardless, I agree that was a mistake. However, as I indicated in a private conversation with Taylor, it was made purely out of compassion. Namely, I will be logical and beat people up until I see that they are crying, at which point I will just tend to say, you know what, forget it. I don't care about the points anyway. You could go ahead and win those points or whatever. Because I'm softy. But the thing is, to the extent that I engaged in a non-virtuous behavior, it was in the service of virtue, and whether or not it actually served virtue, the I feel less sinful than if I had told Courtney no, but more sinful than if I had said I need to talk to Taylor first. So that was definitely a mistake on my part. I regret doing that. But like I said, I was moved. I was deeply moved at the moment. And whether or not her tears are crocodile or legitimate, I want to afford people the benefit of the doubt. Assume that even if in the past she had been deceptive about such things, that everyone should have a chance for redemption. Taylor's pointed out that she doesn't deserve anything from us, and I agree that she doesn't have any right to anything based on anything. I would point out perhaps that there's ought be afforded something for the fact that she's been here a lot, put a lot of hours into it, and I don't know if that's I don't know what to do with that exactly.
That's a washout because she has, and yes, that's true, but also she's demonstrated bad faith enough times.
All right, I agree. It's a wash. Um, yeah. So that was the gist of our conversation. Is that this is also it's a machine focus versus an individual focus versus a community focus. So for a lot of people, they're concerned about the community first and foremost. They don't like that moderated thing I did the other night because why? They were there to have fun. They're not there to produce make the best video. On the other hand, being concerned about the individual is about, for example, I might on occasion say something like I said to Susie the other day. Well, I don't care if I'm wrong or not. I prioritize valuing you more than being right about this. And I will say that sometimes. And then the other thing, though, is the machine, which says this is a purposed thing. Taylor thinks this is just bullshit I spew, but it actually is not bullshit. I actually believe this to be the case, that this is a discursive driven, a discourse driven identity optimization machine. And that the core mechanism is what Taylor did to me in that video, which is hold me to fucking account for my bullshit, right? If I'm going to be talking about all these principles and stuff, then I'm going to need to be more successful in crafting a metaphysics that allows for a particularist approach to principlism without being arbitrary. Taylor accused me of being arbitrary in my decision making in our earlier conversation, and it's a well warranted argument. He's got good hooks into it. It's not a weak argument to make. I can successfully argue that I made the right decision in the moment, given the fact that shit changes all the time. But that's not very satisfactory. It sort of removes the principlist part from the particularism and just leaves us with particularism, which really is arbitrary. The only other thing I would say about the arbitrary issue, though, is I am, of all people to make arbitrary decisions, I am extremely safe in my arbitrariness.
Did you just defend your arbitrariness by defining it ultimately as arbitrary?
No, I just said to the extent that I am arbitrary, I would rather have arbitrary decision making. I would rather have arbitrary decision making in my hands than anybody else's because I have faith in my ethical wisdom.
Before that, when you analyzed
I appreciate and second that.
Which part?
His faith and his ethical wisdom and his, in the sense of, and if anybody's going to have arbitrary decision making, he'd rather have it in his hands, especially with his channel.
No, I didn't say that part, and I'm not saying that Taylor just.
That was my additive.
Okay.
Here, I'm out of my depth here at this point.
Okay.
And
You are.
I'm out of my depth.
And I don't think that you watched my response.
I didn't. I retract it. I'm out of my depth. No comment.
And you know where the mute button is.
You can still sit with your face really close to the screen now. You don't have to stop that.
Yeah. So, okay. The thing is, it is a challenge. I'm not saying I trust Taylor with the same amount of arbitrary decision making power. And what the one thing that I want to take him to task for is absolutely it is not the case that there's anything unfair or biased about the fact that it defaults to my position. That's happenstance. It always defaults to inaction if you don't affirm. Now, granted, we did affirm, and therefore that's my bad. Okay?
But if you set up the status quo, if you say
I didn't set it up. The status quo doesn't get set up by anybody. It's the status quo.
If somebody's suspected of something, you don't. If somebody's suspected of theft and is being charged with theft but isn't proven guilty, you don't let them go to the place where they steal from. That's a bad example, but you get what I'm saying.
No, your example proves my point that because we haven't convicted her, she's out on bail. But your point would be that we did convict her and we came to an agreement. But my point would be we convicted ourselves, not her.
Look, Casey Anthony isn't going to run a daycare.
Not successfully.
Right. Okay, so all right, Casey Anthony daycare is fine, and
what? I mean, it's fine for her to try.
okay, well then, to that extent,
she might find some clients.
All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that we've got a situation in which you're advocating for what is also the status quo, which is a setup of a situation.
It just worked out that way, Taylor. It's not set up. The status quo is the status quo. Failure to take action results in us going back to the status quo. It just happens to be the status quo is that because we haven't taken. It's the same thing as fucking criminal thing, right? It's like if we're not taking action against you, then we can't take action against you.
Yeah, but you can still get arrested and yeah, they can make your life miserable. They just haven't done anything.
Right, that's true. And I've not said at any point have I said anything about what you ought to do. I have not said anything about what you ought to do. If you want to make your own consequences for her, fine. I don't know if she's going to show up or not. I'm not. I have not at any point did I tell you what you should do. Except I think I maybe said you should take down that one comment, which you chose to do. I think it was a suggestion. It wasn't a request. It might have been a request. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a request within, or else we have to lose more videos to court. But
it wasn't. That wasn't a threat. That was a simple.
Very clear that I took it down because I respect people's right to have their name to be here pseudo anonymously if they want.
Okay, yeah, you did make that clear, and I hope I made it clear that I would take down the video because I respect your right not to take down the comment.
But why do we have to respect her right to call you crying? I didn't get a phone call, not once, never, and I've done how many things wrong now?
We don't have to respect her right. We just have to. I'm not saying we should. I'm not saying we have to do anything like this. Okay, I'm suggesting.
You did have the ultimatum right there.
What?
Take it down, or the video comes down.
That's not an ultimatum. That's saying if Taylor doesn't want to take action about this issue, for me, I will take action about the part of it that's my part to take down, which is the part I made. You didn't make I didn't make the comment, so I'm not going to take it down. You didn't make the video, so you're not going to take it down. But each of us has autonomous control over our own little thing that we made there.
I'm sorry your son has lice. I can't get rid of the lice, but I can kill your son.
That's fucking brilliant! Oh, yeah, it's fucking brilliant. No, but it's like, I'm sorry your son has lice, but if you won't cure your son's lice, I'll kill my son. That's what it's really like. That's the actual analogy. How does that help my son's lice? It doesn't.
We're glad that you were not muted.
I know.
Actually, I guess it's more like, well, we'll just kill all the children in the room. And that'll solve the lice problem.
Whatever the case, it's a stupid solution.
Well, Taylor, but at least it respects your rights. You see, it respects it respects you over her.
Okay, I won't argue that. It does to an extent.
That's why I did it that way.
It's like it does, but it doesn't actually have to. Like it's a totally empty gesture.
It's called which court is the ball in?
It's symbolic.
I mean that's all of life just about is making sure the ball is never in your court.
What do you mean the ball's never in your court?
I mean, so by positioning it like that, I don't do anything.
Oh, you don't. Yeah.
Right. I'm just standing here. I have nothing to do with anything. You have to make a decision now. That's fucking how I manage so much shit in life. I position it so that I don't ever have to make the decisions about things I don't like.
Ball. But you did make a decision, which was the comment will come down, one way or the other. We're gonna get rid of that mold if we have to burn it all down.
Listen, I just made the decision that the video was going to come down. The fact that the comment was attached to that video and would come down was incidental to the decision to take down the video. Are you going to buy that one?
I zoned out. I'm not buying any of it.
All right, I agree. I agree. The decision to take down the video was not incidental to the fact that your comment would be going away. That's what I tried to claim a second ago, just for kicks. But no, obviously it wasn't incidental to it. You're right. You win that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I win the argument chain
Stop it.
because no wait, you win
No.
the point, but I win the argument chain because it doesn't matter ultimately if it was intended for that reason or not. I still sidestep the culpability issue of deleting your comment.
Okay, but not effectively.
Yes, effectively.
You didn't sidestep it because you made the decision that the comment was coming down. It was just if I take off some of my leg too, will it look like I took off?
No,
some of his
not
leg?
look like. It's a matter of what do I have legitimate control over and authority over. So the thing is,
It's
I made the video, so
something-
I can take it down. You wrote the comments, so you can take it down. And the fact that
It's
that could be, but it's not just semantic. It's a non-rights violating way of accomplishing the same thing.
Her complaint was about she complained. Then you should have told her if you wanted to not violate rights, you should have told her to complain to me. She complained to you about something that you're saying is not in your control. However, you felt free to assure her that one way or the other, the comment would be down.
However, also well, I mean, I could if you had told me if I had gone to take the video down because you didn't take the comment down. Note, I didn't take any action at all of any sort.
Oh, I know. It took me like 10 hours to get my comment down.
Right. Yeah. I figured I want to talk to you first, before we do anything. That you understand that it's like Eric's in the middle of something right now. It looks like whatever it looks like, but it'll wash out in the end. And it does,
Right. Actually, that was the reason I almost left it up. Not because I agree with my own actions at all.
Right, because we need to talk about it. We need to talk about shit. Because I need to understand that, first of all, I appreciate the fact that you seemed genuinely mad about it, which is good. I think as ENTPs, we have a tendency to be too detached and to forget sometimes that it's not all just metaphor. So I appreciate that. And also, that's what makes this place do what it does, which is fucking busting chops, taking names, trying shit out, having it fly back in your face, and could it work on Courtney, or is she entirely broken? Well, that's why I put the Pygmalion link last night. It was like, if you guys aren't familiar with the script, the story of the play, George Bernard Shaw wrote the play, and it's about this dude who it's in England, and he's like a fancy English guy, and he gets this like trashy English chick, and
It's My Fair Lady, right?
yeah. My Fair Lady they made out of that's the musical version of the play Pygmalion.
Like Beautiful Woman? Or Pretty Woman or whatever?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, a little bit, but My Fair Lady he's doing a social experiment where he's trying to train a low class girl to sound like a high class girl, and so I'm not saying that's what I'm trying to do to Courtney at all, but I'm just saying there is a reality that people come in with varying degrees of non-optimal nature, and the machine works in varying ways. One of the core points of dispute here, or to me, what still remains uncertain, but to others may be clear, is whether or not Courtney is being honest about anything, whether or not her tears are honest, whether or not her apparent flashes of growth or something are honest, or whether they're just manipulative. I mean, my position on that is give her the benefit of the doubt, and if she turns out to be manipulative, then she was dealing with me in bad faith in the first place, and I can scratch all that shit. And if she wasn't dealing with me in bad faith, then I feel a basic sense of responsibility to the human being to allow them to become better than they were. Because I know I've been reduced by so many people so many times in life to telling me shit like, that's not possible. You can't do that. That will never work. I've been told shit like that all the time. And so I feel for her a little bit.
But the benefit of that is reserved for people who are starting at neutral.
Say again?
Benefit of the doubt is reserved for people who are starting at square one. since you have more information about this person, they don't get the benefit of the doubt. It's not that at that point. It's something else. It's called stop crying.
Well, I mean, but look, you even if you behave in a non-trustworthy fashion, it doesn't oughtn't mean that you lose people's trust forever. I mean, you ought to be given an opportunity to regain it.
Yeah, but you don't get the same amount of trust that you started with.
Well, that's true. Benefit of the doubt is not trust. I'm very much on the lookout for indications of bad faith and or ulterior motives. But
everyone should get a deep of respect and courtesy until they've shown otherwise, and she's done that.
Okay, well, why do you think she wants to be here? Or if she still does, I don't even know.
I have no idea. Probably doesn't after this.
Yeah, probably she does.
I have no idea.
But I mean, does that question matter?
Yeah, it does. I think, personally, my best guess is that she wants to, she's pissed off about how she was and wants to change the perception of herself. I think it's a stubbornness thing. Like, fuck you, I'm not going to be the one that's wrong long term. I'll show you that I'm awesome.
Well, okay. So I guess that brings this video to a close here. To wrap it up, I guess I just say that this is, to me, an example of one of the borders of the community, sort of like this is compellingly interesting to me because it forces me to ask and forces the community to answer, what do we do when individuals violate mores of the community? How do we or do we not incorporate them? Or how do we or do we not exclude them? And those questions are significant because this is a community that relies on natural, correct authority for all of its policing abilities. We don't rely on rules to police shit. We rely on me and Taylor being able to beat up anybody.
But that in and of itself has some implied consistency.
I'm very consistent at that.
As long as they don't cry.
Yeah, well, because once they cry, that means the beating up time is done.
No, well, not if she's crying, but not giving up her wrongness.
Okay, I agree with you. If she's being manipulative and arguing in bad faith, then any position I'm having here is irrelevant.
Publicly, and she hasn't brought any of the issues about me up to me. So she's in default bad faith.
Okay, but that doesn't make it bad faith because we have to compare it against her previous incarnation to see if she's putting in good faith effort. Good faith effort is enough to show good faith that she doesn't have to actually be perfect at it.
Public insults against you, against me, publicly, not privately, like her apologies, and her previous manifestations also has called my fucking cell phone. So I know she's got the number.
Okay, well, I mean, look, the thing is, all of this is in limbo pending whether or not she actually tries to come back into a room. If she does, then we may have to adjudicate that one. I don't know. It depends. It's up to you as to what you want to do about it, you know? The thing is,
I don't necessarily want to spend much more time on it. I could give a shit less about Courtney. She's welcome to come in here. Yeah, if she wants to. I'll berate the shit out of her.
And as I've indicated to Taylor, and as I didn't indicate in the video, is any sort of expectations or concerns about what Taylor's doing. I'm not trying to tell Taylor what he ought to do with Courtney at all. And I'm not trying to tell him that he's being too mean or too nice. I don't. Courtney tried to direct blame to Taylor, and my only response to that was, Courtney, you're here to, and this is in Facebook message. You're talking to me in order to understand how you are responsible for this. Don't try to blame Taylor. I conceded one thing. I said, okay, I concede that he probably shouldn't have put that last name up there. I didn't explain why, but it's not that cut and dry. Actually, I don't necessarily concede that because her name, her fucking YouTube name, her, like mine says TWFP, talking with fan people or whatever. Hers says Courtney Harper. So she's not that concerned about her last name being public, obviously. But the point is that, yeah.
Hold on, Nick, your grammar hooked off. What are you saying there? Did I have him muted, or did he mute himself?
He's muted himself.
Nick. Well, you're talking about me up there, like 2 minutes ago. What's that?
Let's see.
Like the one time I want you to use your microphone and you won't.
He says, I told her she should have called Taylor. He says,
I don't care, Nick. I'm not doing this for a PC thing. I'm doing this because it's fucking retarded. Your points are retarded. Well, you're still making points, and they're still fucking retarded. I heard people saying that they don't like your position. So what? Is this a democracy? Are we voting on it? The student body president elections? The most retarded thing that I've done is spend so much time on this. It's hugely.
I don't want to comment. My bad for even texting anything. I retract everything. I don't. This is too fragile. Too.
No, it's not. But if you make a statement, fucking do something about it.
No, I have faith. Honestly, I have complete faith in Eric in handling it. Absolute more faith in myself.
Why did you have faith in Taylor handling it? He's not handling it badly.
I think
with someone
you as his partner, I have complete faith in him too.
What was the point of your comments? You've been commenting on and off in varying degrees of intensity.
All I'm saying is your response to everything and your degree of hatred towards the whole situation, with it not even involving you ever until you involved yourself, is alarming to most.
Because
I don't want to make any other comment other than it speaks more to your internal handling of it, and I don't even want to touch it because I love you. And I'm deferring to, and I'm not going to defer to you because I see you as doing something, either you're on the right or you're way on the wrong, and I don't understand it.
I'm going to respond to you.
I think Eric has a better handling on it than you do.
Because he's more mushy.
No, because he's not emotionally attached like you are. You seem
Yes,
to be
he is.
really emotionally attached, and you're trying to destroy somebody for no apparent
No,
reason.
I'm not angry. I'm not trying to destroy somebody. I'm saying, why the fuck is she being an issue at all?
Why
It's an
are you
issue.
making her an issue? She's only an issue when she make her an issue. Your comments, your energy that you've dedicated to this.
Nick, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. Taylor did not make her an issue. She made her an issue.
Okay. I'm retarded. Let's just say that.
I don't want to say you're retarded. I want you to stop making retarded statements, though. Would be
I
nice.
retract everything. I like Taylor. He's very highly of him. That's why I don't want. I muted myself.
All right, mute yourself again. Mute yourself again. Mute yourself again. You were right, Nick. You should have just let you stay muted.
I said I am out of my depth.
Okay, fine. You're right. You're right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So look, Taylor is dealing with this perfectly
I
fine.
still don't know if he believes or if he's just posturing around the white knight different angles.
Okay, look, Taylor's dealing with this perfectly fine. His response, there's nothing wrong with his response. There's nothing wrong with my response except for going back on that agreement. However, Taylor has not actually acknowledged this, but he should agree that, in fact, that agreement was stupid because it took stuff away from both of us for no benefit.
The agreement, in and of itself, as a decision-making tool, was stupid, but the agreement as a measure of whether or not she was responsible and sorry for her behavior was super useful.
Well, it was, except I was planning on putting the videos back up regardless.
Okay.
Eric, why do you think we've had such a different conversation today than what's taking place here?
The conversation I had with you, Nick, was mostly about Taylor. Not much about Courtney.
What was the part of that conversation?
And a big part of it was you saying, I know, Nick, I found a place where where Taylor can grow. I didn't know he had one of those.
I agree. I think that what I actually said, Nick, is I think I found an area where I could actually have something to teach Taylor, which is specifically sometimes you got to prioritize straight up raw empathy, even when it appears gullible. And the reason is because is not because you're a nice guy.
Don't make me go anymore. You know, just handle it differently. God damn it! Fuck's sake!
All right, Nick, mute yourself. That's enough from you. That you're not contributing anything meaningful to the conversation. Now, look, the bottom line is that what I said was I think this is an area where I have something to teach Taylor. Specifically, that it's okay to let the crying girl win, because if it was fake and she does try to come back and turn it on you, it makes it the next step. The fucking script plays itself out perfectly. Now, Taylor's made the point over and over again that there's no reason to waste time playing out the script with her. But unlike Taylor, I have not been nearly as annoyed by this whole thing as he has.
If you're typing in the comments, you're not muted. So talk or fuck off.
Don't have him talk. He was busting my chops. He was saying something about how our conversation today was so different. My conversation today with Nick, was about how I thought you were wrong about my approach, your position on my take dealing with Courtney. I thought you were wrong about how Taylor was dealing with Courtney, except I agreed with the fact that it seemed a little mean to put her last name up there. And I hypothesized at your request that maybe he thinks she reminds him of his ex-wife.
You brought that up first. I did not.
I know. I just said I hypothesized that.
We were closer to agreement than disagreement, and this is
about what? What the fuck are you talking about? About what? When I asked you what it was you were trying to get me to agree with, you said, I don't know, I lost my train of thought. Remember?
I don't want to speak on this.
Then why are you?
You can't help yourself there.
I'm trying to shift the focus. You did the very thing that I called you so that you would not do.
What?
Which is just break.
What do you mean break?
You are not holding him accountable like you said you wanted to.
Hey, Nick, I didn't say I was gonna hold. I never said that, Nick. I never said I wanted to hold him accountable.
You hold me accountable then. You hold me accountable using the same train of thought that whatever fucking was messed up. Don't jump his ass if he doesn't remember things the same way. You tell me what I'm not being accountable about. Don't worry, I'll wait. Actually, no, I won't for really long.
Anyway, yeah, no, I didn't say anything of the sort. I said, well, maybe that's an area where I have something to teach Taylor. If he seems like he's not necessarily erring on the side of niceness when I think it might be wiser to do so, there you go. That doesn't mean I plan to hold him accountable. He didn't do anything wrong. I specifically said that instead of what Nick is trying to portray it as. I disagreed with him about his assessment on me. I disagreed with him about his assessment on you. I explained to him that his explanation as to why he was right, namely that he reads people so well, did not apply to me or Taylor. No, Nick, that whole argument thing where I was saying, why... Remember when you lost your fucking train of thought and couldn't remember what we were arguing about? And I pointed out the reason I was pointing out that you were wrong about me so many times was because I was trying to answer your point about Taylor? Nick? Huh? Do you really want to do this? I mean, for Christ's sakes, dude. I had a conversation with you today.
No, it wasn't, but it still fits the same, so I concede.
Fine. So, the point is, Nick...
My point is I'm trying to... I'm going to stop talking.
No, you're not.
I just want you to represent yourself more like I heard today, so I don't have to say anything.
Nick, what you hear what you want to hear. You hear what you want. Because just because my tone was different, Nick, my tone was different, not my fucking words.
That's why I'm trying to shut up, and I hope that Taylor knows that I should not be taken seriously, and the rest of the room in particular, and that I defer to you to my judgment.
Okay, thank you, Nick.
And when you're being extra nice to your best friend, I'm forced to say something.
Nick, I am not failing to hold Taylor to account because Taylor didn't do anything wrong except for the one thing that I didn't even really call him out on because I don't even think that was wrong. It was just like, it was an FE mistake. It wasn't even actually anything wrong about it.
Not technically. I personally don't like. I'm more of a privacy respecting person than you are. I like privacy.
I hate it.
So I respect privacy as a default, and I didn't like that I did that myself. However, I did almost leave it up because I didn't like the video either.
Yeah. So the thing is, note what I didn't do, which is I didn't say take down the comment or I'll take down your comment. Instead, I sidestepped that successfully. Yes, successfully by saying, "Wow." No, because it's either you make the effort to sidestep it, or if I was unable to sidestep it, what would have I had to do? I would have just had to leave it up there and not worry about it. But see, the fact that contingency is a possibility makes it meaningful, the distinction.
No, this distinction isn't meaningful. It's just circumstantial, and you're leveraging it to make meaning.
Well, if I do it successfully, then that's the same thing as it actually being what I say it is.
But it would be successful if I wasn't calling you out on it.
Except you're not successfully calling me out on it, which means it is successful. Because all you're doing is pointing it out. You're not saying why it's not working.
It's not working because you didn't create any sort of situation that wasn't already there. You took.
Doesn't
you said
matter.
That you respected my autonomy, but you didn't respect the decision enough to not take down a video.
But I did respect the decision enough to position it like that.
You respected it enough to dress it up.
I respected it enough to have to find a loophole in order to do it.
Right, you put lipstick on the pig.
No, I discovered that the pig actually was a woman. She just looked very pig-like.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Yes, we're talking. Well, we're kind of the same shit.
I mean, look, it's like this. It's like this. It's true, the pig's no more fun to fuck than it was before. It's true, the pig looks no more like a woman than it did before. However, the fact that it actually is a woman means that it's not bestiality.
But it looks so much like a pig that there's no way to know if it's a pig or not until you're fucking it.
I did a chromosome test.
It might be a pig and it might be a woman.
It's a
But
woman.
we're going to call it a woman because it fits better.
Because it is a woman, it just looks like a pig.
But we're not sure. It might be
No,
a
we're
pig.
sure. We're sure it's a woman. It's definitely a woman. It gave birth to human children already. We can prove it.
I lost what the original point was in our example.
It was the thing about how I structured to take down the video rather than your comment, and you said that's just taking down my comment by another name, and I say no, it's not.
Chronology comes into play here. You agreed to make sure the comment was gone before then positioning it so that it didn't actually delete Taylor's comments. It
Right.
deleted just everything that was on. So the first thing you agreed to was to get rid of the comment.
Are that really
And
Corey?
then you're that you're still getting rid of the comments, but you're pretending to put in a layer of not dictator on it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm fucking tripping out at the moment, and I've completely lost my train of thought on that because of the comment that was just put on your video. It says Corey O, which is my friend Corey Osborne, and he's often gone by Corey O and stuff. I don't know if it's actually him, but
Yeah.
well, that's my former best friend. But I don't know if that's actually him or not. But I don't know who else. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know who else would know enough.
We're boring
about,
people anyways.
I don't know who else would know enough about Corey to put Corey O.
We're kind of
Anyway,
boring me. Otherwise, I wouldn't normally care far away guests.
this is what it says. This bores
We
you.
can't hear you, Eric.
Oh, for Christ's sakes.
It was good.